y'all, and welcome to today's video. I am so excited because I have the new Nomad Cosmetics Okavango Safari palette. I am really looking forward to playing with this palette. We have a neutrally green leaning color story and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna do 3 eye looks. I'm gonna swatch everything for you and I am gonna let you know my thoughts on this new palette from Nomad. I cannot wait. I love palettes. I love makeup. Let's jump into it. Getting started, this is Nomad's newest palette. They sent me this palette and it is launching on Tuesday. I will put the date, the time, all of that down below in the description box. I will link to the Nomad site. Any information you may need that I have, I will put it in the description box. Now, I do have an affiliate code with Nomad. It is Heather if you ever want to save on their site. But look at this beautiful color story. It is so pretty. I love that we have some warm leaning neutrals, some greens that are very like muted but still look to be super impactful. We have some cooler green shades down here. Just really beautiful color story. So Nomad does their like theming and their palettes and all around destinations. So I'm gonna pop up a close-up and swatches for y'all so that you can see this palette, and I will tell you that this is inspired by the Okavango Safari. This is their intense eyeshadow palette. So the Okavango Delta in Botswana is an awe-inspiring like home to the animal kingdom is what Nomad says. And it says that there are 9 mattes, 3 shimmers, and 3 animal print shimmer swirls. And this is of course in their soft touch like leopard packaging. It's not furry or anything, but you can definitely feel like it feels like cloth over cardboard, and I like that a lot. I love this gold embossing. Like, I think that's really pretty. And this says from Nomad, we are so excited to help protect the majestic animals in the communities of the safari by supporting the Wilderness Wildlife Trust. So I think this is super cool. I myself have never been to Botswana. My husband has. He got to do a safari in Botswana. I think it was 2016. So I would actually love to go. I have been to Zambia and Zimbabwe, which are very close, and I have got to go on some safaris and see all of these animals in their natural habitat, like in the wild. It was a really, really cool experience. So I'm very, very excited to be playing with this palette, and I love the color story and inspiration. I also love that they're going to be donating to a charity with each purchase of the palette. But we're going to try on this palette today. We're going to do 3 looks. You already saw the swatches, the close-up of the palette. I want to let you know, is this the amazing Nomad formula that I love? I feel like we have had such like great palettes from Nomad lately. Like, they were good and then they've just improved and improved and improved. So you're gonna see as I apply these shadows how they apply, and I'm gonna tell you my thoughts as we go, and then at the end I will definitely let you know. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But you can see I have a lot of my makeup on. I haven't picked a lip color yet because I want to see where the look takes us. We're gonna do an eye look. I'm gonna put on some shadow primer, zoom y'all in, and we will start with our first look. Okay, we've got the palette, I've got eye primer on. I'm gonna start off with this really pretty like mid-tone to dark shade called Chief's Island, this green. Let's do it. I am definitely gonna show y'all a neutral look with this palette because I've already been playing with it. But I want to do the green. I want this green. I'm taking this on a blinged brush and I'm just pressing this into my socket right here. If you want to create a crease for yourself, you want to just put this where you want it, go for it. I'm just putting it kind of all right here in my socket, and then a little bit above, and right now I'm just kind of pressing the color off of my brush onto my eye primer, and I'm gonna blend just a little bit, but I'm planning to use a lighter shade to kind of buff things out with. So right now I just want to get this shade laid down. Okay, I'm pleased with how that shade went on. You could see it was pigmented, no patchiness, everything so far so good. Let's deepen things up with Rumbling Elephants. This deep shade right here that is, it has a green lean to it, but it also comes across a little bit gray. And I'm gonna put this with my blinged brush right at the outer lash line and then blend it up. And this is gonna be our lower lash line shade. So I'm just gonna pull this kind of back and forth along my lower lash line. Like this, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, now what I want to do is kind of buff out the lower lash line. And I'm going to go in with this shade right here, the Game Reserve shade. So I'm going to pick up just a little bit of this. And I'm going to put this right on my lower lash line. But it's going to go underneath the elephant shade that we use. Is that the shade? Yeah. So I'm just going to buff this a little lower to get my look to be a little more like, a little more, you know, more shades. It's gonna give like some different dimension to the look, putting two colors on our lower lash line. So I'm just going to lightly buff. Okay, now I'm gonna take a brush that's a little bit bigger and I'm gonna go right into this center shade, this beautiful matte green, and I'm gonna use this to lightly buff and blend those deeper shades that we started with. So I'm just lightly grazing my skin, no harsh like blending, nothing like that, just light blending motion, being super gentle because I just want to diffuse this with this pretty more kind of mid-tone green shade. Okay, I'm really pleased with how the mattes are blending, how they're like coming together on the eyes, but it's time to shine and sparkle. So we are going to go in with Mighty Buffaloes. This looks like such a pretty bronzy shade. And then I think what we'll do is go into a little bit of Roaring Lions, but Buffalo's gonna be the star. Buffalo's gonna be like that shadow on the lid. Okay, I picked up that shade on my brush and I did spray my brush after I have the shadow picked up with just a little bit of setting spray. I like that. I like the bronze next to the green. I think that is fun. I'm pressing it on first, and then after I press, I'm going to blend. Now I'm using a fluffy brush. I like brushes that are a little more fluffy with my shimmers. It can be a little bit more messy, but I feel like the way a little bit of fluff to a brush kind of disperses the sparkle in a shadow is just so beautiful. It's something I really like to do, and then I can always just wipe away my fallout later. But if you would rather like pack and minimize your fallout, things like that, definitely use a more like dense flat brush. All right, then I'm going into Roaring Lions. I want a little bit of this really pretty like fiery copper right on the inner part of the lid. So you see, it's not going to be the main focus of the lid. It's just going to be this little pop on this innermost part of the lid like that. And then for the inner corner, I definitely could have used like one lighter shade in here, but what I'm going to do instead is try to take my little brush and pick up just the lightest parts of this Migrating Zebras shade, or Zebras if you will. And I'm going to pick that up on my brush, and let's see if we can make this work in the inner corner. There we go, yeah. Just use a small brush. I mean, it's pretty, like, when I swatched it for y'all, I swatched it all together. I did look 2 and 3 actually the other day, so I have, like, played with this palette already, worn it all day, played with it, swatched it, like, all of that. So you can definitely get a color that's really pretty if you like to apply things with your fingers. But I'm happy to know that I can use a small brush as well. Okay, I'm going to finish up the other eye. I'm going to see if I need to do any more blending, but this is our look. I'm going to do mascara and lashes. But before all that happens, here is our finished look. I need to pick a lip color and I will be back. All right, y'all, here is our finished look. I thought it would be fun to go dramatic lashes, dramatic lips. So I'm wearing Salem Cosmetics lashes in Redfield. I am wearing on my lips, I am wearing a Lunar Beauty new lipstick and lip liner in the shade Tears. You press the moon. Out pops the lipstick. So yeah, I decided to go with this red orange type of lip look with this. I think any lip color would be beautiful with these greens. I put Melt Cacao in the waterline. I am wearing my Fenty Beauty bronzer. I'm wearing Lawless Make Me Blush Velvet Blush in the shade Watermelon. And then for highlighter, of course, I'm wearing Resurgence Highlighter Duo from my collab with Unearthly. I'm wearing Rebirth, and then I put Omen Gloss on top. Everything will be linked in the description box, but I really want to show you my next two looks, so let's move on. Okay, y'all, today we are going to do two different eye looks with this beautiful Nomad palette. I am really looking forward to dipping into this. So here we have it. I really like this color story. I really like this color story. So what I want to do is put down an eye primer, and I think the first shade I want to play with, I think we'll play it with this one right here first. It's got these little paw prints on it, elusive leopards. I'm going to lay down an eyeshadow primer, and then we'll kind of start off with that shade. Okay, I've got that shade, and I'm gonna put it right on top of my eyeshadow primer. I just primed my eyes with my MAC paint pot in the shade Ignite. Not Ignite, that's Sigma's shade. I am primed with my MAC paint pot in the shade Layin Low, and then I'm just fluffing this on. This is a Singe Beauty brush, and I'm taking this really pretty kind of, for me, a musk skin tone. It's like a mid-tone brown with some warmth to it, and I'm just gonna fluff that kind of all over. I'm not taking it up quite as high as right under my brow bone. I'm not worried about taking it down to my lash line, but it's kind of gonna go everywhere else, and I'm just fluffing it on, blending. I'm also gonna take a little bit of this shade and run it on my lower lash line as well, very, very lightly, just blending a bit to get a little bit of that shade down. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is jump over to this shade right here, Honking Hippos, this really deep dark brown shade, and I want to pick this up on kind of a smaller brush. Again, if you see these brushes with these beautiful like orangey yellow handles, black ferrules, these are from Singe. I will link them down below. And I'm going to put this right in the outer corner, like this, blending it out a bit. And then I'll wrap it just in the outer corner under this part of the lower lash line, but not big time, you know, just a little right there. And then I'm also going to put it on the inner part of the lid, and we're going to put a nice shimmer in the center. So right now I'm just going to build this up how I want it. I'm not worried about blending in here. We're covering it up anyways. I'm not going to waste my own time blending something that's going to be covered. So I'm just going to focus this right there. Okay, now I'm going to go into this shade right here called Leaping Leches. And we are going to take that on a brush. I'm going to spray my brush after I pick up the shadow. Not putting my wet brush into the shadow, but pick it up on my brush and then spray. Okay, so I'm just going to look down into my mirror when I put this shade on the center of my lid. And I'm going to press this in between where we have that dark brown matte. Really pretty. I think for you neutral lovers out there, you will really like this. I like the sparkles. I kind of like the softness of this shade. After I kind of press it on the lid, then I go and blend. That way I can get the shadow into any wrinkles, crinkles, things like that. So right now I'm just pressing and blending. Pressing and blending. Okay, so in this palette, there's not a super duper light shade, which is fine. Not everybody needs that. I do in the shimmer, I could maybe pick up like part of this, and maybe we'll try that in this next look. But I kind of wanted to do a matte inner corner. So let's go into Towering Giraffes. I think, you know, let's do something different. This look over here, we'll just keep it to kind of 4 easy shadows. Something, you know, that doesn't require a whole lot of shades. Okay, I'm able to kind of put that there. That looks nice. Very simple, very easy. If you wanted to even add a little more drama, you could definitely take this dark brown further under the lash line. I think that would be really pretty. But what I want to do is probably just stick with a little eyeliner down here. So let me find like a nice brown shade really quick. Okay, let's do MAC Costa Riche. I have, like, there's no telling how many of this MAC Costa Riche liner I have bought over the years, because it's just such a pretty shade. And it's this nice, like, warm brown. So I'm going to put this in the lower waterline. And then I think I'll just do mascara. But I do want to create something else on this eye. So I'm going to put my eyeshadow primer down, and then we will create over here, and I'll wait and do mascara afterwards. Now, before I put down my eyeshadow base, I do want to show you the shades we're going to start with. We're going to do like 2 different colors kind of across the crease, the socket, whatever that means for your eye shape. My eyes are so deep set that I have like multiple creases. So for me, it's going to be kind of in the socket and above. I'm going to start first with Crash of Rhinos, and then I'm going to go into Pack of Wild Dogs, this deeper shade up here. So we're kind of hitting the corners of the palette. Okay, so I'm going to take that Rhinos shade. This is a pretty, kind of more cool tone, almost gray brown, really, really interesting shade that I think a lot of people will like this tone. And I'm just kind of fluffing that. You can see right in here where I kind of have like my socket, and then up to my socket here. And then I'm going to blend it up a little bit so that even when my eyes are open, you're still going to be able to see this shade, and it's just going to kind of lift a little bit. Now I'm using a BK Beauty brush. I do my best to like tell y'all the brushes, link them in the description box, because I do think like you can use whatever brush you want, but I do think it's helpful to know like the brushes and the shape and stuff that I'm using. I always appreciate that when I'm watching other people do their makeup, kind of knowing what tools they're using. This is a 202 from BK Beauty. Okay, now I'm going into the Wild Dogs shade. This shade is much warmer, and I'm going to put that on the lash line and up and out. And then I'm just going to make sure that these 2 shades blend right in here where they meet. And then I want there to be kind of a clear difference between the shades. But where they meet together, I do want to have a nice blend there. I'm going to take this shade also to my lower lash line, and I'm just going to spend some time blending, letting this matte come down to the lid here, and then up and out. Okay, so I really like just how these shades are looking together. I think you could just throw on mascara, leave this an all matte look, and be done. But of course I want to play with some shimmer. So I want to play with the 2 shimmery shades in this middle row right here. So Keystone Termites, and then now Crocodile. I want to play with both of those. Okay, so I've got that termite shade, and this is a really pretty kind of gold neutral olive shade. I think pairing it next to these kind of browns, like the cool brown, the warm brown, is definitely bringing out the more neutral tones in this shade. But I think to pair this next to the matte greens, you're gonna see more of that green, which, you know, we love. We love a versatile metallic. So I'm just putting that all on my lid. I'm just kind of leaving this inner part of the lid blank because I want to be able to fit the crocodile shade there. So I'm just going to take this kind of back and forth here. And again, this is a Singe brush. And I'm not going to cover up this matte in the outer corner, and I'm not going to take it all the way in here. Okay, I've got the crocodile shade, and I'm going to put that right here on the inner part of the lid. I did spray my brush after I picked up this shadow, and I'm using a 209 from BK Beauty. I'm going to also just press this on the inner corner because I want this to kind of wrap around here. That's pretty. That's another like lime gold type of green shade. Very beautiful. Okay, like that. Now I just want to leave it there. Again, we just did 4 shades on this side, 4 shades here, 4 shades here, 8 different shades total. But I want to put the same eyeliner on over here. I want to do that Costa Riche. I want to just throw on some mascara, leave the top lash line without liner, and let the shadows kind of stand alone. I'm going to do that. I'm going to pick a lip color too because I haven't done that yet, and I will be right back. All right, y'all, here are the 2 finished looks. I'm into both of these. I just put on that Costa Riche liner and then mascara. I kind of like how light and easy they look. Again, just 4 shades on each eye, not super complicated. If I weren't filming, I could have done these looks even quicker, but I'm into it. So let me tell you kind of some of the other makeup that I have on, just in case you're curious. I'm wearing lip products from Salem Cosmetics. This is Salem Cosmetics lip liner in Hannibal. They sent me 2 of their lip liners and 2 of their glosses, so I'm excited to be trying these. And this is their lip gloss in the shade Luna. It has a really nice vanilla like type scent to it. And then for blush, I've got on my NARS Afterglow liquid blush. This really pretty. I did a video like testing this first impression on this, and I really like the light glow that it gives me. I think it's very pretty. I'm wearing my Fenty Beauty bronzer. I'm wearing my highlighter duo with Unearthly. I actually just mixed kind of both of these shades, so that's the glow you see on me today, my Resurgence highlighter duo. These looks very easy to do for me. I think the shades, when I say these looks were easy to do for me, I mean the shadows performed in a way that made it easy for me. That's kind of what I meant to say. The mattes, very easy to blend. You saw like me buffing and blending them, how easy they were. Didn't have to really build up a lot of pigment. You saw how the shimmers went on. And I'm happy with these looks. I think these are both super pretty. So far, so good with this beautiful palette. Of course, I'm going to give you kind of my thoughts at the end as well. But here we have it. What do we have? Look 2, look 3. Let me kind of cover for y'all. Okay, look 2. And then we'll cover here. Look 3. All right, y'all, I really hope you enjoyed seeing the close-ups of this palette, my swatches, and my 3 looks. We did use every single shade in this palette, so I feel like I have a pretty good, like, roundup of my thoughts on this one. So the packaging, I love. I love this animal print. I love the kind of soft, like, fabric type feel. I think that's super nice. I think this is a really elevated take on neutrals. I think this is a color story that a lot of people will really like, myself included. I do like all three looks, and I feel like it's a very user-friendly, very easy to use. So we have 15 shades. Of course, I hopped all around the palette. If you don't know what to do with this palette, but you want it, hopefully I gave you some inspiration. But I also think the way Nomad laid this palette out is really thoughtful. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, just take this palette by rows. The first row, you have mostly your kind of warm toned brown neutral shades. The second row, you have your more green shades. And then down here at the bottom, you have some cooler tones, you have some deeper tones. So if you just feel overwhelmed, you don't want to watch tutorials, I think if you take this row by row, you'll have 3 easy looks laid out for you right there. Of course, you can also kind of go by columns, but I do think the layout is really thoughtful. I thought the mattes were very easy to blend. I didn't have trouble with anything. We do have some of the pretty Nomad shimmers. I really like this shade in particular. I think it has a lot of sparkle, really, really beautiful. I would have loved to see like one lighter shade in here so I could have an inner corner highlight, but it's not that big a deal. It's really not that big a deal. I like that we have some depth in here so you can deepen up with either the brown or the more green like I did today. Overall, I think this is a really, really good release from Nomad, and they're really putting out some good products this year. So I'm excited to see what they do for the rest of the year. I'm just so enjoying playing in makeup. Thank you so much for watching. I do want to say, if you're on a low buy or no buy, shop your stash. See if you can recreate these looks if you want to. Remember, I'm never here trying to convince you to buy things. I would have bought this palette had Nomad not sent it to me because I love the brand. I really like this color story. I think it's like elevated, fun neutrals. But if you were on a low buy or no buy, stay strong. If you were considering picking up this palette, I hope my video helped you. And if neither one of those options apply to you, I hope you had fun hanging out with me. Thank you so much for being here. I am excited for y'all to see this video. And yeah, I will talk to y'all very soon. Make sure you subscribe because I have a new video coming tomorrow. Bye!